Thank you, Anil. And I also appreciate the organizers for getting the debate on, which was, I think, probably cancelled. Anyway, thank you. And I'll start my talk on different surgery in operable pancreatic cancer, which I never expected we had to defend surgery. Because nowadays, radiation oncologists are getting so brave. So, come on, now, there's an old jungle saying, never underestimate the power of a radiation oncologist. They came with the cobalt, they came with the linear accelerator, then so many softwares, IMRT, Rapid Arc, and now SBRT. And remember, the radiation oncologists, unlike medical oncologists, they think like a surgeon. And now they are talking like a surgeon, very aggressive, but they don't operate. And again, as far as pancreas is concerned, of all the organs in the body, it's a fixed organ. For them to shoot in the beam is very, very easy. So unlike, let us say, when they have got success rates in lung, when they have got success in prostate, so then pancreas should be a sitting duck for them. And on our side, Whipple's is one of the most difficult surgery. The anatomy is complex, there is extreme physiological activity there. It's technically a demanding surgery compared to most of the surgical oncology procedures. It's a deep surgery and it's a very long procedure. Most of the time, the anastomosis which is done in Whipple's is at the end of the day and at the end of the surgery, which is when the surgeon is very tired, and so complications tend to occur. So looking at why Whipple's, especially the pancreatic, the main surgery which causes, has given the cancer of the pancreas a very bad reputation. If you look at the history in the 1940s to 80s, and this is the data from some of the top hospitals of the United States, including the Presbyterian Hospital where Alan Whipple's worked. During that time, during these 4 decades, the morbidity was as high as 30 to 50%. So almost every alternate patient was going to morbidity. And I think we can note that Nargis, she had struggled to survive after probably a Whipple's. The mortality rate was as high as 16 to 30%, and in some hospitals it was as high as 45%. So almost every second patient used to die in some hospitals. The survival rate of the pancreatic surgery was as low as 5%, and most of these 5% were all neuroendocrine tumors or ampullary tumors. And the average number of cases done of Whipple's per year in most of these big hospitals was just 3 to 5 per year. And the surgical numbers were just 1.9 per surgeon. However, things changed, and in the 2000s, from the same hospitals, especially these hospitals like the Cleveland Clinic from the Sloan Kettering and also the John Hopkins Hospital, the morbidity and mortality went on improving. So now the morbidity in the 2000s, early 2000s was around 15 to 20%. The mortality rate has come down to 1 to 4%. The survival of only even pancreas has increased to about 20% 5-year survival. And the cases now being done in most of the hospitals about 150 to 400 per hospital, and the surgeon numbers is generally more than 10 per surgeon. What has happened in India of late? Of late, even the results in India have improved. And these, I don't have real data, but on personal communication with most of my surgeons, I know that they claim that the morbidity is around 10 to 15%. The mortality is about 1 to 2% in the metro cities and about 5 to 8% in the smaller towns. The surgeon numbers mostly is ranging from 15 to 30 cases per year. In the green are my own data, that is in the last 3 years, my morbidity has been around 10%. My mortality is about 5%, and of the 3 years I do about 26 cases per year. Now, which are the cases of pancreas which are unsafe? So we can select out which a surgeon can avoid. The cases of soft pancreas, especially with the morbid patient, with those who have comorbidities like diabetes and all. Patients who are very obese, technically difficult, anatomical problems, vascular deranged anatomy, and in those where radiation has already been given. Now I went through a lot of data trying to compare SBRT and Whipple's. There is no comparative study of SBRT is just evolving. And I tried to get the data as much as possible. Most of the hospitals are still not practicing SBRT in pancreatic cancers as such, especially in the early pancreatic cancers. So we try to explore what are the results of SBRT or CTRT, SBRT given in the borderline operable cancers and in locally advanced cancers. One thing has helped us from SBRT for the surgeons is that we have been able to get a R0 status in borderline operable cancers up to 90%. So definitely in borderline operable cancers and advanced cancers, the SBRT is playing a role. But then, is it really curable? So we looked at the PCR rate, that is the complete response rates in those patients with borderline operable cancers. The PCR rate after SBRT, only 50% of the cases were really technically resectable, even after radiation. And of those 50%, the PCR rate, I mean the complete response rate was only 5 to 7%. So that means the cure rate which can be offered by SBRT will be limited only to 5 to 7%. The best was from the University of Pittsburgh. It was a very small study, but then it's an important hospital, so I just kept it in the figures. That's where the PCR rate was about 25%. So right now, though the local control for early pancreatic cancer is good, there are no survival benefits. Most of these patients who have not undergone any surgery, especially when SBRT has been given in early pancreatic cancers, there has been no survival benefit. Surgery has got its own exclusive advantages. See, in GI cancers, there is no specific mode of lymphatic spread, which is the concept of Helmstedt spread. Radiation can probably hit the tumor, but then to hit the nodes is going to be very difficult because there are many organ limiting, there are many dose-limiting organs in that region. So definitely it is going to be a tough time for the persons with the beam to treat early pancreatic cancers. There is no concept of lymph node dissection or managing the lymph node basin with radiation therapy. Second, finally, you don't get the accurate staging if you don't operate. And झगड़ा तो हमारा तुम्हारे बीच में है, but you are going to put a band on the eyes of the medical oncologist. You are making him blind, so he doesn't know whether to give adjuvant chemotherapy or not. So he doesn't have any data. Now looking at our Indian scenario, see, in India we expect about 50 to 70,000 cases of pancreatic cancer per year, of which around 50% would be operable. We have around 3,000 oncosurgeons all over India. The costs of treatment are very low, and we can treat all classes of patients. SBRT centers are less. I mean, I think I don't have an exact figure, but I think there are about 100 to 150 to 200 SBRT centers all over India. Most of these are limited only to the big cities. It is going to be a costly treatment, and then the people who are going to offer this treatment are only going to be the rich. So we are not going to treat majority of cases. I'm sorry, I lost the thing of time. Just a few more. Thank you. So the economics, surgery is going to be very cheap. You don't have any additional investment to do surgery, but for the running cost of surgery is hardly going to be around 10,000 rupees. Actual running cost. Whatever profits you make about that, the bill is going to basically go to the healthcare workers, and all of these profits, directly or indirectly, are going to be reinvested into the hospital. While when you take a LINAC with the power of SBRT, you have to pay 6 to 8 crores extra. The running costs are minimal, but most of the profits go abroad, and what goes abroad. It doesn't come back to India. So conclusions. I think all the cases should go for surgery except for patients who refuse surgery, who are complicated and technically difficult, unfit cases, and patients of extreme old age. Is it so? Wait, that's also not so. Because nowadays, for patients who refuse surgery, who have got better counseling, today people are more educated. They understand the morbidity and mortality come less. So most of them are accepting surgery nowadays. The complicated and technically difficult cases, we have better equipment, our knowledge is increasing, and our experience for surgeons, it is passed on to the next generation. While for radiation oncologists, when the technology changes, the whole of the experience goes away, like cobalt ka now you have to go with a new technology. So the newer, younger surgeon, younger radiation oncologist will not acquire the skills of the older radiation oncologist. For unfit cases today, our anesthesia is safe, our critical care management is safe, we have got better drugs, and with the EROS protocol, our results are really improving. And in many centers in USA, like in the Stone Gathering, they have been operating patients up to 92 years of age. So today, in the race of the hare and the tortoise, the hare is not going to sleep and it is not tired. So the new jungle saying is, don't underestimate the power of the surgical oncologist also. Thank you.